Okay, so we have a normal regular fuel cap for a CBR125 that every time you open it you need to use the key. So you use that and it clicks in and allows you to withdraw it out of your tank, and then when you press those bits back in, the barbed sections pop back out and lock it back into your tank, and this rubber seal seals against the top of your tank, and you've got a little breather through inside there through your keyway to stop your tank vacuuming up. Underneath this rubber seal there's a steel ring that we need to take out, because underneath the steel ring is 3 Phillips head screws, and we undo those and the full lock will come apart and you can take the barrel out. Take the barrel out and then take the parts that these locate into. I can't remember what they're called, but the key moves them into the right spot, so when you have the wrong key it doesn't open. But if you take them all out, it doesn't matter what key you have, it will open your fuel cap, and it's good for racing, endurance racing, or any just convenience if you don't want to have to use your key for your bike. Okay, so if you see under there, I've already started to partway remove the rubber seal from the metal ring from underneath the rubber seal. So then once that's out, we can access the 3 screws and take the lock apart. To get the metal ring off, it won't go past those, so you either need to turn the keys so these go in, or you can lock it round like that. It just comes off nice and easy. And then you see under here, for look whilst I'm expertly filming, there's one of the screws. There's the second one. And your third one there. So I'll just undo those now and I'll move on to the next stage for you. Okay, if you see now, taking the top part of the cap off, you can actually see if you undo those 2 little screws, you can remove that dust flap if you really want to. I don't want to, just leave it on. It's just nice cover over once it's in. And then that's your lower part, that's your barrel that we're going to be taking apart in a second. And to get that out, you just put the key in, turn it, and it should draw out quite easily. Okay, so we've got that bit. If you really want, you can take those 2 screws out, dig that out of that muck, and you can run it without that flap. I like to run that flap, it just looks a bit cleaner without it. When it's missing, it doesn't look as good. Purely personal preference. And then after you've removed the barrel, you rotate the key, and that should lock in that position, and then inside there you can see the part of the mechanism that draws those in. When those 2 cylindrical parts on the bottom of the barrel turn, rotate it, move things about. Yeah, so inside there we're going to remove those little brass components, and they're the bits that move as and when you put your key in. If it's got the right key, they all pull in line. If the wiggles on the key don't quite match, it'll still have some stuck out, and then you won't be able to get into the fuel cap. It's not what we want. Inside there there's the brass parts, and there's also some really small springs that we need to get rid of. We'll get rid of the really small springs as well, because they might poke out and jam up the mechanism, which is not what you want when you're in the middle of a race meeting. and you're trying to get fuel in your bike to go out again. So you can see I've taken the sliders out, but inside there it's quite grotty because it's a 15-year-old bike. There's still those little springs that might come free and jam the whole thing up. So I'll take those out with a small pick or whatever I can get in there to jab them out. And once they're removed, this can go back in to here like that. Okay, so if you see, got 5 of these little blades and 5 springs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 2 of them didn't come along very quietly, they had to be forced out. So yeah, I just picked them out with a small pick and got them all out. So now the barrel is ready to go back in without any of the pins to select how it locks or not. Okay, so I'm just going to drop this back in, the barrel, back in where it lives. Again, you just want to press it in with your thumb and it should go right down to the bottom. I'll just set it. Okay, so the screws are back in. I'm just going to put the shiny silver ring back in. Everybody loves a shiny ring. Okay, so now it doesn't have any of the pins in. Just open it with a screwdriver. Easy. Even when I'm holding the camera. Yep, there you go. So now that's a much quicker option. If you really wanted to, you could probably take that off and solder part of a key in, then you could make yourself some sort of quick release lock. But yeah, that's how I run mine.